2, 1. First, let me get your name.
Arthur Medley.
Spell it for me.
A-R-T-H-U-R-M-E-D-L-E-Y.
Okay, you can go ahead, Ricky.
On March 1st, there's an election in Houston and Henry County for district attorney. Today I'm with Arthur Medley. Arthur, tell me who Arthur Medley is.
I'm a husband, 26 years, and Tina stuck beside me the whole time, and frankly I couldn't be doing this without her. I think everybody's seen her on a campaign trail with me, and with her and the rest of my family, that's what's made this possible. I'm a father of 3. I have 3 great kids. My kids, you know, went to our public schools. Chase graduated from Dothan High, and the other 2 went to Northview, so I feel there's a connection there. And I'm an Army brat. You know, I can't say that I was born in Dothan. I was born in Fayetteville, North Carolina at Fort Bragg. And then I lived at Fort Knox. And I've lived in South Carolina and Georgia and Florida, let's see, in Kentucky, and of course Alabama. So, you know, I've moved around. But what happened was a few years back when I'd lived here before Tina and I had lived here back in '91. And when I was finishing law school in '97, we just were trying to decide where do we want to raise our family. We had 3 children at the time. And we chose Dothan. And we came back and we've been here ever since. So Dothan's home. Dothan's where I've lived longer than I've ever lived anywhere before. Dothan is where I have since relocated my parents, and they're here too. And so I'm a Dothan man now. But throughout the course of that, you know, I'm a trial attorney. When I came to Dothan, I went into trial work, and I've been a trial attorney for the last 18 years, almost 19 now. During that time, I worked in a DA's office right here in Henry and Houston counties for a period of 6 years, during which time I was promoted to chief trial attorney. So, you know, I can try cases, but I've been trying cases, you know, from both sides, and frankly, I think that gives me a distinct advantage because I can see how the case works from each side and how it needs to be put together. And from a prosecution standpoint, if you know what the defense is thinking and what they're looking for, and you can go ahead and build cases accordingly, you come up with stronger cases, and then you better represent victims.
What made you decide to seek election as district attorney?
Well, you may recall I'm the guy who ran against Valeska the last time. Now, I was working in that office. Valeska himself promoted me to chief trial attorney, but I couldn't agree with everything that was going on in that office, and quite frankly, I think there's a whole lot more that office should be doing. That's why when we talk about my vision for the DA's office, it's 2 parts. It's the successful and strong prosecution of crimes when they've already occurred, but see, that's the second half. Now, I can do that. That's what I did. But the other part's being proactive, being back in the community, being back in the schools, trying to help educate so that we can prevent crimes.
What are some of the things that you plan to do if you're elected district attorney?
Well, it's like I said, that proactive start. That's critical. We got to get McGruff the crime dog going again. There's the DARE program. There's the Zero Meth program. Most recently, Zero Addiction. Things for like our elderly, Cybercrime 101. Just alerting the community, you know, about how we can make them safer and avoid becoming victims themselves. Those are the types of programs that we've got to get going. And quite frankly, on the tail end of things too, we've got to break this cycle. So many of us have seen it. So many people that I've talked to on the campaign trail talk about it. You know, they see people with a drug addiction, you know, they get into trouble, they get convicted, they go to prison, nothing happens. Nobody breaks that cycle. They get sent back and they go right back into the same pattern. I'm looking at implementing things like actually utilizing drug court, taking advantage of things like veterans court, you know, taking advantage of programs that exist like community corrections, but actually utilizing, partnering with the community so we can get more people into it. Community corrections is something where they take a defendant who maybe has a drug problem, or, you know, the non-violent offenders, and we give them an assessment, see what kind of treatment they need. Is it alcohol? Is it drugs? You know, and then they get the treatment, but they also put them to work. They're required to get a job, which is why we have to partner with the community to help make sure that we have these jobs and these resources. And then while they're working, that also helps pay for their supervision, so we're alleviating some of the strain on our tax dollars. So we're breaking the cycle, we're helping people become better members of our community, and we're costing ourselves less in tax dollars. I think it's win-win and win. But it's stuff like that. That's the cycle we just have to break. In Houston County, I guess we've gotten in a rut. I assume they used to do things more like that, but over the last 30 years it's just tapered off or it's just not being utilized. So that's the kind of things that I want to do.
March 1st is the election, which encompasses Houston and Henry County. Sometimes, like we've got a Houston County judgeship running, this race is all the people that are registered voters in Houston and Henry. Tell them why they should vote for Arthur Medley.
Why Houston and Henry should vote for me? Because I represent both ends of the spectrum. I have that actual trial experience. This isn't a job where you can learn on the job, okay? You don't need a DA who learns on the job. You don't need a bankruptcy attorney. You don't need an estate attorney. You need a trial attorney who's gone in there, tried the tough cases, and done this. Quite frankly, victims need somebody that can go into that courtroom with them and represent them successfully. You also need somebody with the ideas, and I've been talking about these ideas for years at this point. You know, about the proactive school programs, the stuff that we've all seen, that we all remember, but we just don't have here in Houston and Henry counties anymore. So I'm the guy who brings both ends of the spectrum to them. So it's the total package. You know, everybody seems to agree that my ideas as far as the education of things are good, but I'm also the one who has the trial experience to carry through the other end as well, and I have the energy to go out and do all of this.
Is there anything else in summary that you'd like to say?
In summary, well, I feel like I've kind of hit on it, but yeah, I mean, that's it. If you're ready for change, you know, and you're ready to stop applying blanket policies to everything, and you recognize that everybody can't go to prison. And keep in mind, there's those folks that do. And that's what I'm talking about when we need successful prosecution. Some folks, the answer is prison. But if you're ready for someone who will look at the facts and circumstances of each case and work from a perspective of what's best for the community, what can we do that's constructive here, as well as those proactive policies and those educational programs and being accessible. That's something that I've run into on my own campaign trail. I've talked to police officers, I've talked to teachers, I've talked to victims, and everybody has the same common underlying problem, is the DA's not accessible. Well, I understand this is a service job. All right, I'm here to serve the community, which necessarily means that the community can access me and that I'm a resource for information or a resource for help. So it's for all of those reasons that I'm the best guy for the job.
Thank you for taking your time today.
Thank you.
Bye.